Hey, good evening. My name's Ben. This is my indie devlog. I'm making my first game in Unity. And as always, I'm going to start my devlog with a little beer. Today's beer is an Erdinger. Erdinger. Alcohol free, actually. So I'm not sure I should really call it a beer. But it tastes like beer to some degree. Looks like beer. Smells like beer. Pulls like beer. But yeah, trying to cut down a little bit at the moment. Plus, I had a bit of a session last night. Cheers. So I haven't done a video for about 2 weeks, and there's been quite a bit of progress, which I'm happy to report. So I'm going to walk through some of those changes that I've made over the last couple of weeks now. Starting with... Let's just launch the thing. Starting with the look and feel, I guess. That's the thing that's going to slap you in the face once this game's loaded. Oh, I'll tell you what I should have done. Come on. I should have gone in full screen so you can see it a bit easier. I think when the game's small and I'm recording, it doesn't always pick up so well the colours, because there's a lot of dark at the moment. So let's just try that in... Let's try it like this. See if that's a bit better. God, it's cold in here. My plans changed a little bit for this game as well, so I'll go through that in a second. Anyway, so here we are. This is the test scene for the alien environment. So you're inside the mothership at the moment. I wanted it to look a bit weird and different. Might change the background to be more cosmic, maybe moving. But I did want this sort of I was going to say distortion. Yeah, I don't know. Just needs to look a little bit different. I really like these psychedelic colours. Remind me of the like cards and stuff, the shiny cards. Again, it just looks a bit different, which is what I was after. Whether it will stay or not, I don't really know. I'm just playing at this stage. What have we got going on since last time? So we can pick objects up. This is new. Oh, we can knock objects over as well. We can drop objects. Boom. We can throw objects. And we can inspect objects and move them around. So this was something I wanted to get in the original demo, prototype, whatever. Never really got round to it, so it's nice to see it in place. And this will, there'll be items on the island that you'll want to inspect to find out things, get clues. But also for the puzzles and stuff, I'm thinking, you might need to line it up like that and drop it down into a slot or something. Physics on that's a bit weird. So that's cool. I'm really happy with this, and it works really well with the mouse. You just left mouse click to pick up, hold left mouse click to throw, pick it back up, hold the right one to inspect, and then let go to return. So it's quite intuitive, I think. And I guess I need to consider VR at some point. But my goal at the moment now is to really focus on just getting this done for PC. Truth be told, I'm getting a little bit, not bored, I just want to make some progress. So that works. I don't know if I showed the recording, but just in case not. The ghosts are now, you can trigger those anytime you want and start the recording, hit the key, and the ghosts go off and interact. Jump's been added. I never had jump originally. So I've sort of come to the conclusion that I need to add more, I guess, standard features that most games have, that for some reason in my mind I was avoiding. I think because I wanted the game to be quite realistic, as realistic as can be, considering it's a game. But I felt like jumping, well, you wouldn't be jumping too much if you've got a big backpack on. What other things? Like highlighting objects as well. That's something I want to add that I've not done yet, but I want outlines so that you know the objects that you can pick up and interact with. And these are sort of standard features, aren't they, in any game really? But for some reason in my mind, probably because I was just trying to avoid doing it, because it's actually can be quite tricky doing stuff like that. So I guess I kidded myself that I could get away with it, but fucking hell, I can't even do this. Go. Hey, we're over. Oh, and I've left the item over there. Anyway, so yeah, there's that. What was I doing this morning? I need to reload for a second. There is. I'll come to a big. Came to a conclusion this morning. The conclusion. Shut up, Ben. Right. Yeah. Let me just demonstrate this. Let's throw those all over there for a second. Boom. When I press this key, all the items that I had just saved are back in position. Basically, I've just reintroduced the saving and loading. And this has kind of led me to think about what I'm doing. Also, just to give an idea up here, like the FPS is through the roof at the moment. Obviously, because there's not a lot going on. It's not rendering a lot. I did find an issue actually when it does seem when I'm moving that the frame rate drops down a hell of a lot. Oh, wait, what? Oh, yeah. I don't know. It's very inconsistent. Earlier when I was moving, it was dropping down to like 40 frames per second. I'd stop and it'd jump back up to 250 plus. Anyway, what I'm thinking now is a bit of a change in approach to the game. So this whole part is experimental, right? I was just using this to test out the mechanics of the mothership. But I've been able to do a lot in a short period of time from all the learnings from the island that's people were playing on Steam, and I'm starting to think I might start again, because I'm not that far from where I was in terms of functionality, and I've got a bit more now. So I think it'd be quite easy to port what I've done already and pretty much refactor it as I go along to be a lot cleaner, a lot simpler. Just from my learnings from the past. I think that's what I'm going to do. So I'm actually going to start turning this into the island, keeping an eye on this frames per second. I know I had a pretty good FPS before, but I know I can do a lot better. Excuse me. And I know I've been watching some tutorials on how to debug and keep the FPS sweet, and I think it is important. Again, maybe it's one of those things that I was trying to kid myself, because it was a lot of work to fix that I kind of ignored it a bit. And yeah, just it's that feeling, isn't it? Like when you were at school and you got a new pencil case with all your pencils and that, and you got new books, you just felt like, right, I'm going to keep it all sweet, I'm going to keep it tidy. And that's how I feel about this now. Although I need to tidy up my hierarchy, actually the code and the logic is a lot simpler and a lot easier to read, and I've made it a lot more granular. Like some of my Playmaker scripts were huge before, and I had logic all over the place, and sort of trying to follow through and track that was time consuming, and I was starting to hack it. So that's what I think I might do. I'm getting really, really excited about it. I actually did start landscaping the island on this scene, and just seeing it sort of and being able to interact with the islands at a nice FPS was good. Made me feel good. Maybe it's like that's what I need to do. So I think that's what I'm going to do. Is I'm going to continue. There's a few more probably puzzles, mechanic puzzles I should play out before I go much further in here, and then I'm gonna the way that I was. So from the first prototype, let's just call it the prototype. the way that I was transitioning, there was, you did a lot on the island, and then at the end you opened up a portal, and that essentially loaded a new scene like this, and you're inside the mothership, and that was going to be my plan, was that portal would bring you to here. But what I'm thinking now, because I've got a few tricks up my sleeve, is this is the other thing. Everything I can start again with everything being at scale. I'm conscious of the scale of everything now. These are, 1 scale 1 scale 1 1. This one's going to be 2 on its height, and again that was all a bit hack and slash in my last prototype. Partly because I was getting assets from over the place, and sometimes a scale 1 of that asset, this isn't scale in centimeters or meters. It's just a scale, and it depends whoever created that art piece as to what they think is a scale 1. So a lot of that was all, I tweaked it and hacked it to try and look right. But when I put on the VR headset, everything was messy. I had big butterflies the size of plates, bunnies the size of coins. It just didn't look right in VR, but in 2D, 3D, it looked fine. So starting again with that in mind, I think will do me a world of good. But what I was saying actually is this: rather than transitioning to the scene, I don't suppose this matters too much actually, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I'm going to have the mothership on the island, and rather than load the new scene, it'll all be on the island, and I think that'll still be very performant, especially if us do it in the right manner and just keep an eye on my stats. That's what I'm gonna do. So I think in the next devlogs are going to be quite interesting. It should be quite visual. I should be moving through, recreating the island. I'm probably going to use tools for it as well now, rather than manually do it like I was doing before. I might use a tool to generate the island and generate mountains around it as well. There's reasons I want mountains. One is to hide these motherships, so these can be in the scene but out of sight, if that makes sense. And 2, I think it just makes everything look bigger and more realistic. Now, it is an island, and in my mind that was always the case. I wanted to be a sort of island in the middle of nowhere, and no one else is around, and that's very strange. But actually, the storyline in my mind has changed a little bit as well, and I'm bringing it back, just making it a bit easier to tell the story. I did watch an interesting video about telling stories in games, whether or not everyone's got an opinion. I don't know if I've tried one way, which was to write my story and then make a game around it. Now I'm thinking, get the game mechanics in place. I know where I want to go with the story, always have, but I've struggled to tell the story in the game because I have to sort of create scenes and scenarios to progress it. And I think with this approach that these guys were saying, which is just make the game interesting, and I kind of enjoy playing around with this stuff at the moment. It feels like there was an old game called Tim, the Incredible Machine, where you could put elastic bands on cogs and stuff and create crazy machines, and they would do things. And this isn't at that scale at the moment, but it's kind of fun just like walking around and activating things and getting. I'll show you what I mean. And I think that's something I can. I need to get that over the wall. I think it's something I can introduce more of into the island. So there's more machines to fiddle with and things to do on that front. A bit like, I guess, like Myst. I mean, this game was heavily inspired by Myst anyway. But Myst always had those weird machines that you weren't quite sure what they did and how they worked. Something like that, but a bit more physical. Come on. So I'll show you what I mean about this. These 2 panels here. So you've got this orange cube, the orange panel. Again, all placeholder, right? This one. I wouldn't leave it like this. So you can end up in a space like this, and you think, well, what can I do? I've got these cubes, that orange panel, so maybe they match up. No, that doesn't work. You can activate your ghost, and whoop, run him over those ghost panels. So off he goes. Well, no, that didn't do anything. But boop. So that activated that blue trigger. You notice when the shadow goes over it, it activates. And if I take this orange cube off, it no longer activates. And come on. Yeah, let's just grab this quickly and run back over. Ba-ba. Right, so we know that turns green when this is on and the ghost goes over that panel, so boosh, and then it launches it into the sky. And I don't know why, but it's kind of fun getting things like this to work. And I thought I might be good to do some more stuff like this in the island. You know, little machines that all into. Oh yeah, I got rid of the floor over there. Yeah. So some mechanics like that in the island, which will just make the gameplay a bit more interesting. So you're not just walking around hearing a narrative. There are things that you can do, and that's kind of where I'm at the moment. As I say, it's been an interesting couple of weeks because I've got way back into it. You know, I had that lull where I fell out of love with pretty much everything, to be honest. So to be back on it and excited about the game and the future, I'm very happy. Lost a few nights worth of sleep. You know what it's like going to bed thinking about your project, and it's like, I want to do this, want to do that. That's where this new storyline came from. I'm going to keep the storyline still about you going to an island to find your brother, but rather than this crazy island in the middle of nowhere, it's going to be a bit more local. So again, it just makes the storyline a bit easier to tell, and I don't have to do that mysterious "you're awake on an island" thing and you're not sure what's going on. This new storyline will be a bit more realistic. Like, you've gone to the island, which is in your local town or whatever, on a little boat to find your brother who's gone to this camp spot that you used to go wild camping with, going wild camping to, and weird shit then happens. So minor details, I know, but I think it's just going to help set the scene a little bit easier. It's a bit easier to tell the story, and help deliver the story as well. My original concept with the story was right, bang, going to chuck you straight into it. It's going to be about aliens and weird stuff, and I don't want to lose that, but I do think I can make the intro a bit more interesting with this new approach that I'm thinking of. So there we go. That is the last 2 weeks worth of effort. Things are coming on nicely. Bit of a reset, but probably, this will be the third time I've started from scratch, and it's not necessarily a bad idea. I know people get worried and scared when you restart stuff. Sometimes you're forced to, right? When something goes wrong, your project gets corrupt or whatever. But I think it's a lot easier to choose to do it, and I'm choosing to do it. Start again. I can progress, I'm sure, a hell of a lot quicker. I like the challenge. I like the idea of this challenge. I think the next few things I need to do, get narrative working. So think about how I'm triggering that narrative again, and make that a bit more customizable. A bit more customizable, because it wasn't before, and it got a bit messy. Work out how I'm going to manage my scenes, because again, that was getting a little bit messy. Like, items would appear when they shouldn't do, and doors would open when they shouldn't do, or would lock when they shouldn't do. One of the problems I had before was picking up items, but now I've got that. That's working a treat. I do need to think about the different items. At the moment, you can just pick and carry, but there are items that you collect, and how I save those items. again, it's all up there at the moment, and I just need to get on and bang it out. So yeah, that is my devlog for this week. Thank you for watching. Any comments, please do leave below. Any suggestions, ideas, etc, etc. And yeah, if you're interested in staying in the loop a bit more, feel free to join my Discord channel. I'll leave the link down below. All the best, and take care.